Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody, and it is Walk On Wednesday. This is the day that we bring some people on the show for the first few minutes of the show, pick their brain. They're usually doing something cool with their life. And before we do that, Miss Mara, do we have any announcements? Miss Mara?
Bhakti recovery group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And also, if you want to come to Super Soul Farm for the Spiritual Scientists on Saturday, May 20th, they go to Raghunath Yoga to sign up. Is that right?
Just email Mara at supersoultrainings@gmail.com. That's it. Yeah, or you can go to raghunath.yoga also. Check that out.
Hey, you missed the big announcement, though.
The big announcement is Mara has practicing projecting her voice. Have you noticed that? It used to be like, yeah, and then you can do this. I'd be like, Mara, project. Look at the audience.
I think if you projected a little bit less and Mara projected a little bit more, we'd have a nice balance.
No, you don't understand, because I'm a trained performer.
Okay.
I'm a perform artiste.
Who trained you?
Who trained me?
Yeah.
I trained myself on the streets, man. I project. I hold the stage. It's what I do, man. I'm a professional entertainer.
Okay.
I'm just helping her out here.
All right. No, good.
What's the big announcement?
The big announcement is that the Sage Groups open up today.
No, but that's our our Walk on Wednesday.
All right, so we'll tie that in.
Okay. All right, so that is the big announcement. 6 p.m. Our operators are standing by. 6 p.m. You go to wisdomofthesages.com and you sign up for and click on the Sage Groups tab, and you get to sign up for your Sage Group. If you don't know what Sage Groups are, we break this community down into groups of 7. And you sign up, you have a little weekly community building, and it's very, very powerful. The feedback on Sage Groups is phenomenal, off the charts. People have made best friends. It's sort of transformed them. If you're not in it, this is a great chance to do it. And for our Walk on Wednesday, we have Kylie Brown, the Dust of Brudge, we call her, live from Atlanta, who's a Sage Group leader. And we have Brudge Bihari, who's assisting us to organize this whole darn thing. Welcome to the show, you guys.
We got to unmute Brudge Bihari here.
Brudge Bihari, you got to unmute. We want you to say something. We want you to say hello.
Good morning.
Project.
All right.
Now, Kylie's an actress.
Kylie can project.
She knows how to project. She can sing. She
actually has
stage.
been trained, Raghunath. Okay, she's actually really been trained. Sorry about that. I didn't mean that look on your face. She knows how to sing.
You don't understand.
Really sing.
Some people go to school to learn French. Some people just move to France. Okay.
Welcome, everybody.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Why don't you take it over from here, Kastuba? Pick these guys' brains. Have them tell us about the Sage Groups. A lot of people have no idea. They talk about the Sage Groups. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in an enigma. What is it all about? How
It's
can I
actually
become
not so
part of it?
mysterious. It's actually really straightforward and simple.
Okay.
But why don't we do this? Why don't we ask Kylie to speak a little bit about, because she's been a Sage Group member actually up until this point. And
Okay, she graduated to Sage Group leader.
yeah, and then maybe Raj Bihari can speak a little bit about from the Sage Group leader point of view, as well as the practicalities of how you sign up and all of that. Okay, but Kylie, why don't we start with you? Can you just share a little bit of your experience about being a member?
Yeah, this has been one of the best experiences for my practice. Rukmini she gave this talk the other day talking about, when the gopis joined their hands in community, that's when Krishna appeared. And, wisdom of the sages, and specifically the sage groups, it really is sort of like that invitation that like this practice is for everyone. And it was just really so inspiring to see everyone's practice every week and how Krishna's manifesting in everybody's lives.
So like there's a check-in and you share a little bit about what you're going through and that kind of thing?
Yes. And it just, for me, it just reinvigorates my efforts every week, because I see just inspiring people, and with, an amazing, and I had Raj Bihari this last time, who was just so generous with his time and sharing his practice.
That's great.
How was he?
Amazing.
He is pretty good. I got a question for you. I'm just going to play dumb here to spark a conversation. I'm new to all this. Am I evolved enough to be in a Sage Group, or do I have to be a little bit more committed?
It's for everybody.
It's for everybody. Doors are okay. Come as you are. Okay.
No, I mean,
It's meant for people. I mean, it's not meant only for people who are new, but it's meant to be that next step. Like, okay, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm interested in Bhakti. I really want to make it part of my life. Well, then you're going to need some sangha. You're going to need some people to talk about it with, and to ask your questions and to share and get inspired by. And, that's what the Sage Group is for.
It really is a safe space to really be authentic and to really share where you are. And it was just so supportive. Everybody's just so supportive.
Is there a lot of vulnerability going on? And no, I'm just curious. Is there a lot of crying? And you feel
Only
safe?
Kylie cries.
But Timothy Tucker is writing in on our chat board, curious to find out what time the weekly check-ins are, because I'd really like to sign up if it fits in my schedule. Well, the point is, when you go to the website, you're going to see a list of all different Sage Group leaders, and they have different times.
Okay, there's not one standard time.
Yeah, I think they're listed in Eastern time, so wherever you are in the world, you have to figure it out. But yeah, so there's a wide variety of days and time. Every day there's Sage Group meetings going on, and at different times. So I think we're starting off with over 40 right now, and if more people than that, because only about 7 or 8 people are allowed in a group. We want, they say, what they say, Raghunath, about small groups?
What do they say?
They say that's where the real transformation takes place. It's like
the magic.
Big congregations. There's a value to that and everything, but like where you really start, digging in and getting traction and making transformation is in the small group setting.
I think that's true.
And
so
no,
let me ask Kylie. Kylie, were you in a generic group, or were you in like the Spanish speaking group, or the Southerners group, or the LGBT group, or the right? There's all different groups with different themes. And then there's a bunch of we'll take anybody.
Generic
groups.
Well, I've done both. I've did a women's group the past 2 times, and then this last time I was in an open group, and it's great.
Did you benefit? Okay, you enjoyed both. Okay.
Flavors, equally supportive. It was wonderful.
What's it like when the men start getting involved? That was okay?
It was great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Munda and David Murray. It was inspiring devotees.
Good people.
Well, everybody's got a great story too. Generally, people's walking their spiritual journey. It's a very interesting story. Just see what they were into, how they ended up where they're at, their struggles, their hurdles, their pitfalls, and their great accomplishments and crossing certain finish lines. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Braj Bihar, you want to share anything?
Well, I just love what you just said. Everyone has a story, and it's so great to get to know people. And as Kali was kind of, we create an atmosphere where you're free to question things. You're free to ask questions that you think, oh God, sometimes how you're in a class or something and you think, oh, I don't want to ask that question. It's kind of a dumb question. And then you do ask it and everyone says, oh, I'm so glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is created where people can just, speak openly. Well, Raghu said something that really, I'd really like to dig more deeply into, or Kostuba was explaining this, and could we talk more about that? And we usually take something from one of the podcasts the week before and then expand upon that. But also, if someone's has some either a deep realization or a troubling question, we might just kind of squirrel off on that and spend that. It's usually an hour and a half, an hour to an hour and a half, talking about that thing that really everyone is interested in, or that might really help one of the people. So it's and it's very non-judgmental atmosphere also. So it's for everyone. A person who may be listening to podcasts just for a week or two, up to a person who's been practicing Bhakti for 30 years. There is, by the way, a time converter on the time zone converter on the page.
Thank you, Isabel. Isabel has been really key in helping us. It's complicated to get hundreds of people into 40 or so groups, because only so many could fit in each group and they get juggled around. Actually, this time the sign up is like it's kind of first come first served, right? Like if you want to, it behooves you to check in early if you want to try to get in a particular group.
How much do these cost, Kostuba? What does it cost? What is the initiation fee to get in one of these groups?
It's entirely free of cost.
What about the platinum? I'm interested in the platinum membership. Is there a platinum membership I can get in?
How about we just have a telethon for it? you can be
the Wisdom of the Sages telethon. Okay, so it's cost nothing. You're saying
cost anything,
what's the catch here?
There's no catch.
It's like crazy, right? There's no catch.
There's no catch. There's got to be a catch.
There's no catch. But Raj Bihar, maybe you could just tell us what it looks like when someone's going to sign up. Like they'll go to the website tonight at 6 p.m. or anytime. But it's going to go on for 2 or 3 weeks. There'll be sign up, right? But the earlier you do it, the better. If you want to get in a particular group, what happens? You go to the website, and what does it look like? What goes on?
So you go to wisdomofthesages.com, and then you click on the top left on Sage Groups, and yes, it'll be on for a few weeks. We start at 6:00 p.m. And, like, for example, if you really want to be in Kylie's group, which is going to sell out quickly for free, get there at 6:01 before all 8 people, fill up Kylie's group. And
5:59.
Yes, exactly.
But if you can't get in a particular group, you try another one, right? Like
as much as I'm it will ask you for your top 3 choices, and we'll try to give you your first choice if that fills up your second. But these are all, hand-picked leaders.
Yeah, good people.
That Raghu, that you and Raghu and I and Isabel have spoken about and interviewed and went through, all the resumes and everything. No, we didn't go that, but people that we know and we trust, and we know that people are having a great experience with them.
Yeah, the Sage Group leader is really just facilitating the conversation. It's like it's not so much like a teacher kind of thing, but it's like they're just trying to help keep the conversation open and giving everyone a chance to speak and open up. And in helping direct, I like what you said. These are flexible enough. We generally have a topic that comes from something that we discussed the previous week on the podcast, but it's kept really flexible so that it can go wherever the conversation can go wherever it needs to go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Raj Bihar, like people that were in a group already, they've actually been able to sign up earlier if they want to stay in the group that they're in.
So you can stay in the same group.
You can, but people like Raj Bihari in particular, we encourage people to try new groups and move around. And Braj
Right.
Bihari, he's one of these ruthless sage group leaders. Like everybody gets kicked out, and he brings in a whole new.
Ooh,
Ruthless.
everybody
Yeah.
wants to get in his group.
but people really like his group. So there's going to be 7 or 8 spots available to get in his group if you show up early.
You know, it's amazing. We're joking, but there is no upsell. There is no platinum package. This is just an offering for our community to build community, and it's working and it's transforming us, and it's quite wonderful. So we just want to encourage you. Want to thank everybody for being part of this. And it's like sometimes people, people been around, Krishna movement for a long time, and sometimes they'll complain about this and that. I always say, like, if you want to complain about something, recreate it.
Yeah, that's
Recreate it better. Stop
Right.
complaining about something. Well, I can't get into this because of this. That's okay. Recreate it. And that's what we're trying to do here. We let go of the things we don't like, and we create new stuff that we will like. And this is working out really nice for our evolution and our transformation, and to build community. And good job for everybody involved. Thanks to Kaustubh Braj for getting behind this and really rallying. It's huge. And it's really so 2.0 right now. This is the first time stuff like this has really ever been done on a massive scale, and it's exciting.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you both so much.
Thank
We appreciate your involvement. We love
you.
both of you guys.
Thank you.
And
Now let me upsell you now on the premium Patreon platform. We will send you a special Wisdom of the Sages bead bag. Wouldn't that be
really
great? We
wanted
should
to-
make those. We should make
You-
Wisdom of the Sages
you were
bead
born
bags.
to be a telethon MC, Raghunath.
People are so young, they don't even remember what a telethon is.
We've got the telephone, and you would walk around with the people that are on the telephones and talk to them. And
Everybody, and you
They
say, here's Jeff
occasionally
Eisenberg, Karuna's mom, Nancy Rothman, and they're all at different phones. They're all answering phones at the same time. They're like in the front of
and
the
then
camera.
occasionally you're going to look at the big thermometer and seeing how high it's gone, and then encouraging people to, hey, someone's going to double your thing if you.
Double it.
Okay, we're going back to the thermometer.
Oh my God. All right, everybody.
You ready?
Let's take this to the next level.
Okay.
Ryanam namaskrityanaram chaivanarottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam madirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of our conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta priyeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmadatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm really serious about going to Vrindavan and making Wisdom of the Sages bead bags. We did that in the 90s with Shelter. We made Shelter bead bags printed with that Indian stamp, like that red Indian ink.
Make it happen, Raghunath.
I'm going to do it. Okay. All right, where are we? Are we set up here, Miss Mara?
Hey, where's Mary? See, she's right when we need her.
She's
just like,
embarrassed
gone.
now. Wants to be off camera. She's got a little criticism from somebody.
No,
she
no,
she
no.
feels bad, I think. Text 9.
Text 9. So
But
we're
she's here.
keeping the
She's
full-
supporting. She's supporting
Okay.
us.
No,
She's
no.
just supporting us from 3 feet away. Okay, text 9. Sometimes,
No,
as
what's
if
going on? What's going on?
I can't remember.
Okay. So we're hearing a 46 verse allegorical kind of narration here,
Mhm.
which is saying that our wandering in this world trying to find material happiness, it's like wandering in a jungle. and you keep thinking you're going to find something valuable in that jungle and it's going to bring you happiness, but actually you just find all kinds of varieties of suffering. And like they show those guys when they go through the jungle, and there's leeches and there's rashes and there's insects and there's
Welcome to the
snakes and-
jungle. You knew I was going there.
So it's the Srimad Bhagavatam giving us, a very stark presentation of how we struggle in this material world, trying to find happiness through material things.
This isn't your feel good chapter. This is your feel bad chapter.
That's right. But you got to
gonna
feel a
let-
little bad if you're going to get turned in the right direction. That's it.
You really have to do, or else what you're going to have to do, what you're going to do is you're going to try to desperately find pleasure in the jungle.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to just get lost more and more deeper in the weeds, the quicksand, the bugs, the snakes.
Some of the metaphors so far have had to do with seeing this world. The happiness that we're chasing after is something like a mirage or a will of the wisp. If you're going through the desert and you're thirsty and you're suffering and you see, oh, there's water in the distance. It's there finally, and then you chase after that with a heart full of anticipation of how great it's going to be when you get there, and then you get there and it disappears. It's gone. It wasn't what you were expecting it to be, and then you suffer still more.
A baited hook.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is text 9. Sometimes, as if blinded by the dust of a whirlwind, the conditioned soul sees the beauty of the opposite sex or the same sex. See the beauty of the beauty of sex, basically, which is called pramada. Being thus bewildered, he is raised upon the lap of a woman
Or a man.
or a man. And at that time, his good senses are overcome by the force of passion. So whether it's a man or a woman, the idea is like now we're controlled by passion.
Okay.
They thus become almost blind with lusty desires and disobeys the rules, regulations governing sex life. So sex is like a type of passion. It's a type of energy. And if you just take, just like, if you have a gun, there's rules of a gun. If you have a gun at home, you keep it in a safe. You don't leave, you keep a lock on the gun. It's a powerful tool. It could be useful. Say on a farm, sometimes there's rabid animals, or you have to, whatever. I'm trying to think of a good excuse for having a gun here. But my point being, like, it's a powerful energy. And if it's in the wrong hands or unregulated, then it starts to consume us. So this is a big thing, whether we're straight, whether we're gay, what the idea is, sex is an energy. If you don't control it, it starts to control you. Be careful. That's all. Okay. And so once lust takes us over, it takes over the mind, and it starts to take over the intelligence. So they disobey the rules and regulations governing sex life. He does not know that disobedience is witnessed by different demigods. Sometimes we think, well, I'm just doing this for myself.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. I'm all alone. Oh, they know. It's just like nowadays, there's cameras everywhere, people. You can't get away with anything. If you're thinking about getting away with something, there's cameras in your Airbnb. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are. But there's also there's cameras Sierra Scranton Davies laughing because she's the Airbnb super hostess. But the idea is there's cameras everywhere. Guess what? There's always been cameras everywhere. You know what? The demigods are witnessing everything we do. You can't hide from the demigods. And that one who enjoys illicit sex in the dead of night, not seeing the future punishment that awaits. So this sort of sounds a little fire and brimstone, but we see what happens with indulgence. Let's just take it off of sex and put it into food. I sneak up at night while everybody's sleeping, and I stick my big spoon in a jar of peanut butter. Then I open the jar of jelly and I stick my big spoon in that. Then I stick it back in the peanut butter because it's too sweet, make it a little salty. Then I go back to the jelly because it was too salty. I go back and forth, jar to jar to jar to jar. No, I'm overriding the bread. I'm just going jar to jar to jar to jar, back and forth. All right. Now, nobody saw me, but there is You might say, I got away with it. I didn't get away with it. I've wrecked my digestion. It's not good for my health. It puts on extra weight, makes me sluggish, makes it for a tough morning. You can't beat the system, right? You can't beat the system. You can't say, I'm not going to plant this spring. I cheated the system. You guys are all out planting. You crazy. You wasted your time. I faked it. Okay, then you're just going to have nothing to harvest in the autumn. So there is a system of laws. You can't break the laws. You can just break yourself according to the laws. You could the laws break you. What do you think of that?
All right.
The laws break you. Sometimes the conditioned soul is very aggrieved by the chastisement of his enemies.
No, you skipped a verse.
The conditioned soul sometimes personally appreciates the futility of sense enjoyment in the material world. And sometimes he considers material enjoyment to be full of miseries. Okay. Sometimes they get a glimpse of intelligence.
Hurts. Yeah, you get hurt.
Yeah. However, due to their strong bodily conception, the memory is destroyed. And again, they run after material enjoyment, right? They call this just like an animal runs after a mirage in the desert. They call that Bhoga Tyaga. I want to enjoy the material world. And then we get to this point of enjoyment where you go, what did I just do? I can't believe I've done that. Oh my God. I'll never do that again. And that's the Tyaga. The pendulum swings back to renunciation. And this is what we find ourselves because of the strong bodily conception. Whew.
There's those two terms, bhoga, which means to enjoy. Tyaga means to renounce. And we can see that often our life is like a pendulum going back and forth between the two, right? Like you say, oh, I'm going to eat and enjoy as much, and then you're like, I got to go on a diet. I feel terrible. You know, it's like I've gained weight. I feel bloated. I feel dull. I feel lethargic. It's not healthy. I'm going to the doctor, and they're telling me it's causing me health issues. Okay, that's bogus. You slide back over to Tyaga. Okay, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to do that. And then, but at a certain point, oh, I can't take this anymore. You're back to Bhoga. You're back to Tyaga.
I'm going on a cleanse.
I'm going on a cleanse. Yeah, right. And so, Prabhupada, this is something Prabhupada said about this Bhoga Tyaga. Ready, Raghunath?
Mm-hmm.
He says the world contains those engaged in Bhoga and those engaged in Tyaga. And by the way,
You knew I was going to say this today?
Well, I read the verse. I didn't know that you were going to say it, but you did.
Very good. I'm thinking like you and Prabhupada. Good.
Yeah. I was thinking, I want to take one step back here and say that when we think about Bhoga and Tyaga, remember that when we're talking about the Bhagavatam, that we're talking about amongst all of these great yogic texts of all the Vedic literature composed by that great sage Vyasadeva, that this is the book that kind of reveals the whole picture and helps us put the other teachings in context. Now, if you go to the teachings of the four Vedas, they have a lot to do with Bhoga, right? How you can cultivate good karma, how you can live a pious life, be kind, be generous, perform the rituals demonstrating your gratitude to the gods and the goddesses for all the things that we enjoy in this world. And if you do that, you'll cultivate good karma and you'll get more material enjoyment. You get longer life, healthier life. You'll be born in a beautiful body. You could even elevate yourself to higher planets in the universe. And for some time, maybe for a very long time, enjoy materially on a level that we can't even imagine here on this earth. So that's Bhoga. Then when you come to the Upanishads, these are books about Tyaga, that all of that material enjoyment, there's really, it's all superficial and none of it satisfies the soul. So better to renounce these things, right? And seek liberation. So Bhoga and Tyaga, we kind of like go back and forth between these two in life. Bhakti is the alternative, right? Divine love is the alternative. Selflessness is the alternative. Both Bhoga and Tyaga have an element of selfishness within them. One which says, I want to enjoy the things of this world. Another says, I want to stop my suffering in this world. Whereas Bhakti, it transcends the selfish concerns. But it acts, in a Zen-like way, it's actually only when we stop being selfish that is our self-interest truly found, right? It's found in love, and love is a condition of selflessness. So here's what Prabhupada says about this. He says, the world contains those engaged in bhoga and those engaged in tyaga. However, we will not be happy following either of these paths because it is not a proper position to either enjoy or renounce.
Mm.
Now, think about renunciation, right? We say, oh, that person.
Yeah.
Prabhupada makes an interesting point here. Since everything belongs to Krishna, right? We didn't create anything. We didn't create the water. We didn't create the air we breathe. We didn't create our own bodies. We didn't create the food that we eat. We haven't created anything that we create is only secondary created because we're already given all the ingredients, right? So he says, since everything belongs to Krishna, nothing belongs to anyone else. Whatever we possess is actually Krishna's property. Isa vashyamidam sarvam. We mentioned that yesterday, right? Krishna is the controller, the owner of everything. Since we have not produced the trees, plants, water, or the land, we cannot claim them. Since we actually have nothing, we can renounce nothing. Or as it is said, naked we come into the world and naked we go out.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? We
Yeah.
claim ownership of things we didn't create. Oh, this is mine.
Yeah. we draw a border around some land. We say, it's my land.
This is my land. How'd you get it? Well, the governor of England, they said we could have this land if you just stake it out. Really? Okay.
He says, so we come in naked, we go out naked. In the interim, we falsely claim, this is my country, this is my home, this is my wife, these are my children, this is my property, this is my bank balance, etc. Such claims are false because we come into the world, because when we come into the world, we come in empty-handed, and when we go out empty-handed. What then is the meaning of bhoga and tyaga? In the light of the actual facts, they have no actual meaning. Bhoga is thievery, and tyaga, renunciation of what never belonged to us, is a form of lunacy. That's right.
Yeah.
So in any case, we tend to swing in a pendulum back between these. We get burned by the material world. We suffer. We think I've had enough of it. Again, me and the gimmies, and then sick of it all. We go back and forth between the two. And that's wandering around this forest.
Good analogy. In the gimmies. It's interesting. So yeah, so yeah, due to the strong bodily conception, we're entrapped, and first we try to really desperately enjoy the material world. We all get to this point of like, what am I doing? What was I thinking?
Sick of it all.
Write it down. Get sick of it all. Okay.
But then
here's a question. Here's a question for you, Kastuba. Here's a question for you. What if you're practicing bhakti, but you still find yourself in a little bit of this pendulum?
Well, we likely will, because in other words, this is a serious endeavor. But in other words, to root it all out of us, to root the programming out of the mind, the bhoga tyaga programming, right? You need this to be happy. Oh God, that makes you miserable. To root that out it's a noble and challenging aspiration in life.
Yeah.
And so step by step, even Raghunath, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I know, like when I first heard these concepts, I thought, okay, there's a logic that makes sense to that. But the truth of it has to be something that becomes fully imbibed. It's like, and I feel that happening deeper as the years go by, and I read the same books and I read the same paragraphs and the same verses over again, and they mean something more to me, like when Prabhupada says here that everything belongs to Krishna. You hear that, and yeah, I suppose I haven't created anything, but how deep that has to go. Like we're given in a sense, we own our own body. In one sense,
we're caretakers of it.
Yeah. Why? Because it's that field that our consciousness permeates, and we're given a sense of ownership over it. Now, Krishna's consciousness permeates our own body as well in the form of Paramatma, and his consciousness permeates every atom of this universe. It means that actually this entire thing is his body. Even my body is part of his body. Right. And that, and we kind of have that idea, like even, like little kids that are taught in school, okay, this is your body. Right. And what I'm saying? It's like we're taught that you have ownership over your own body that no one else has. But as we begin to understand these teachings more deeply, we begin to not only theoretically engage with, but actually really understand and ultimately feel that actually this is all Krishna's body. It's all his energy. His consciousness is everywhere, even within my own body. It is all his. Even I am his. The very energy that I'm made up of is the energy of God.
Mm.
And then if that sinks in deep, then you begin to look at everything. My endeavor to make money, my endeavor to find sex, my endeavor to find happiness through family life, my endeavor to find happiness through possessions. This whole journey through this jungle that I'm going through, you begin to see it in an entirely, you actually not only think of it in an entirely different way, but you feel it in a different way. You know, and that's, you know, you're saying like, well, okay, I'm practicing Bhakti, but I'm swinging back and forth. Yeah, we're going to swing back and forth until that realization goes in deeper and deeper and deeper. And how does it go deeper? By on a daily basis, contemplate, reading these things, discussing these things, getting in a sage group, discussing them, bringing up, you know, our doubts about it, our experiences about it, hearing the experiences of others, and being nourished by that, having our own weak convictions strengthened, right, through that experience of applying it again and again, reflecting on it again and again as we go through life. It will sink in deeper, and it will transform from theoretical knowledge to realization, or what we call wisdom.
Yeah. Or we can fast track you through Sage Group Platinum, $29.99. You will be very quickly realized.
There's no way to buy it. Right?
No more bouncing back and forth through Boga and Tiaga. We're fast tracking you. Okay. Text 10.
Text 11.
Text 11. Sometimes the conditioned soul is very aggrieved by the chastisement of his enemies and government servants. Okay, right? I had a dream of road rage. Again, I had another road. But you know what? In my dream,
the person road rage?
No, not road rage. The person. That's Mathura Nanda. We call him road rage. But I dreamt I, like, by mistake, cut somebody off, and the guy was like getting out of the car to try to fight me. And I was like very, very Krishna conscious. I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. It was a mistake. I apologize. And I was like dismantling his, you know, when you like admit your faults, it's hard for a person to continue with their anger. And I just like, yeah, I made a stupid mistake. You know, I felt like I feel that if you can act Krishna conscious in a dream, that's a very good sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I've done that. Where a beautiful woman is coming up to me. I was like, I can't do this. This is inappropriate. And I was like, all right. Sometimes in a dream, I'll be like, whatever. It's a dream. I've actually said.
Well, you've actually said that in the dream. Hey, this is a dream. We can do this. But there are prayers by great acharyas that are saying that I want to feel my devotion to you even in dreams, right? Like I don't want there to be any state where I'm not feeling that. Yeah.
So that was a good one. It wasn't a full on Krishna conscious dreams, and I've had some of those. This was like, I'm going to deal with this guy diplomatically. I'm not going to get angry, and I tried to very sweetly what's it called? De-escalate. That's the word.
But now this verse we're reading now, 11, you know, we've been hearing about a lot of things like material struggles in different ways, making money, family issues, health issues, different things. Here we're hearing what may be the most painful of all sometimes is when people are criticizing you.
Ouch.
You know,
hurts.
It can really hurt. It can really disturb the mind.
Yeah. Very difficult. Yeah. You get all these like comments on your Instagram feed, positive, love what you're doing, is inspiration, needed to hear this today. What the hell is the matter with you? You are such a loser. Like 1,000 nice ones, one cruel one, and that's the one you hang on to, and it haunts you.
You know, that is the nature of this world too. We can say, is this a place of enjoyment or is it a place of suffering? But think about it. If 1,000 people say something nice about you and one person says something not nice, your mind goes to the not nice. Or you can take like the hand, right? Like the hand it can touch things, and some things may be pleasant to touch.
Oh, yes.
But if someone hits that hand with a hammer,
Yes.
it's like that pain you feel is so much greater than the pleasure that you feel through it.
Sure.
you know?
It's designed more for pain than it is
This
pleasure.
world is designed more for pain than it is for pleasure.
Oh.
So in any case, when we hear someone saying, it's saying people use harsh words against us. You want to continue with that? Text
Yeah.
11.
Okay, so who comes after them? Their enemies, government servants. Like, what's a government service? Like a tax collector.
I guess you go to the post office and they tell you get in the back of the line.
Horrible postman, post person comes. The assessor. That's a big thing. If you live in a house, the assessor comes to your house. Hi, we just like to assess your property. No, they're going to try to raise your property taxes. Hate the assessors, right? Anyway, people are.
Don't hate the assessor. Ragnar. Don't
hate the assessor. The conditioned soul sometimes personally. I'm sorry. Sometimes
at that time, his
at
heart
that time, who they use the government servants who use harsh words against him directly and indirectly. At that time, his heart and ears become very saddened. Such chastisement by the town assessor may be compared to the sounds of owls and crickets.
You know what I think that means, Ragnar?
No.
Because both the owls and the crickets are like nocturnal animals that make noise at night. And sometimes, like, the first time I ever went to Colombia, I went to go to sleep at night and it was like so loud outside. It was like incredible, right?
You're not used to those sounds.
Yeah,
Do you get any sounds at night up there? It's
the,
loud around here right now. What are the
It is so
frogs
loud
are
in Colombia. It's like, wow, it's like all this frogs and
that's because in the city they've killed everything. The only thing you hear is people screaming.
I'm just saying. So my point is, I'm not trying to get into a city country debate here. But my point is, I think like it can keep you up at night. And I think when people use harsh words against us, we lose sleep over it. Literally people lose sleep over it.
Yeah, there we go.
You can't get good rest. You walk around feeling all ragged and everything. People are looking at you like, what's the matter? And it may be nothing more that, especially I think this happens in the workplace a lot. Because it's a competitive field and everything like that. And people start to say things about you within the workplace. You feel like you've given your life to this. You feel like it's unfair. And that stuff just starts ringing around your head at night.
What to speak of being a popular personality? When I was in the band, you always get people just saying horrible things about you. I mean, you get a lot of people that love you. And for everyone that loves you for no good reason, there's a bunch of people that just hate you
other
for
bands
no
that were
good
against
reason.
Your band?
Oh, there's always like the enemy band who hates
who are your enemy bands, Ragnar?
Enemy band who hated us. I don't know.
Okay, maybe we don't want to go there.
Don't
tell me you don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Ooh.
Okay. So, yeah. So
but that's part of not just the workplace, but if you're a public figure,
Yeah.
And I think that type of hate ages you. It ages you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember there's an interesting story about the mystic in Mayapur who Paramananda went to see, and Paramananda was sick. Remember that not black magic, but it was the Ghostbuster guy from Mayapur.
Yeah.
Remember him? He came to Brooklyn once.
Smash a pumpkin outside. And
I tried to get rid of all the spirits around, and he'd be like, this person has 40 ghosts inside him. And so anyway, Paramananda, it's such a good story, but I won't tell the whole story, but Paramananda, was not feeling well. So he thought, well, maybe it's a ghost or a spirit. And the guy said, no. Where's Paramananda on the show? He should tell the story.
He said, he's here.
He's here. Unmute him, please. It's worth hearing the story from his mouth. Paramananda. Oh, there he is. Wait.
Where is he?
Here.
Oh, I see him over there.
You're asked to unmute. Paramananda. Unmute, please.
One more time.
Asked to unmute. There we go. Paramananda, Harry Ball. Welcome to the show.
Harry Ball.
Good morning.
Well.
Paramananda.
Okay, the story real quick. I was in India, and as usually what happens in India, your digestion goes out. So my digestion was out for like a month. So I went to this Ayurvedic doctor. The Ayurvedic doctor told me, there's absolutely nothing physically wrong with you. I'm sending you to Jiteshwar, the mystic doctor.
I thought his name was Bhuteshwar.
was it Bhuteshwar? It might have been
Okay, go on.
something like that. So they sent me to his house. His house was like a really far walk from Mayapur. I had to walk probably like 45 minutes to get there. And when I got there, his assistant opened the door, and I said that the doctor had sent me there. And he said, no, we can't help you. We can't help you. There's too many people coming. And then I could see Bhuteshwar in the background, and he's got did you ever go to a Raghunath?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Of course, my own little exorcism.
He's got these eyes, like you can't even believe they're like crystal clear blue eyes that just look right through you. So I saw him down the hallway, and he was looking at me at the door, and his assistant was kind of like shooing me out the door, and he says, "Wait, I can help you. Come in, come in." And as soon as I walked in, he looked at me with those eyes for about like 2 minutes without saying anything. And then he said, "I know exactly what's wrong with you." He said, "Are you a politician or some sort of public figure?" And I said, "Well, I'm not a politician, but I'm in a band, like a pretty popular band." He goes, "That's it. That's it." He said, "A lot of people love your band, but a lot of people hate your band. And there's so much negativity from so many thousands of people focused on your band and you personally, that it's affecting your digestion." He said, it's like an evil eye when so many people have so much negative energy towards you. It actually affects you physically, and it usually affects your stomach and your digestion. So I said, "Don't worry, we're gonna clear all this negative energy off." And he did a whole big puja. It was super intense. He was like yelling, and I had to throw all these things in the fire and putting oil on my head. And it was
just a little hometown exorcism for our friend Paramananda.
It was really cool and really mystical. And at the end, he gave me a kavacha with all these Hanuman mantras in it. He said, "Don't worry, Hanuman's going to help you. Hanuman's going to keep this negativity off of you." And
All right.
call me superstitious, call it the power of suggestion, call it whatever you want. I call it being cured from the evil eye. I walked back to the Mayapur, property. And for the first time in a month, I was ravenously hungry. And I ate like one of those Mayapur huge meals where they the Bengalis come around and put like a mountain of rice on your banana leaf plate. And I swear to God, somehow or other, my digestion was completely cured on that walk back.
You get rid of the evil eye.
Now, it was amazing.
Was he able to determine, was the hatred coming from youth of today, judge, or shelter?
Yeah. I'm sure it was shelter, because at the time it was early on in shelter when I had first joined, and there was a lot of backlash towards the band.
Right.
So
thank you, Paramananda. Thank you, Paramananda, sharing that little exorcism nectar.
Glad to help you squirrel out, Raghu.
Thank you, my squirrel assistant, Paramananda. All right,
Flying
great
squirrel.
story, huh?
Amazing.
Collective hate can cause physical illness.
Oh man, so much stress. If we don't learn to love everybody, even our enemies,
Yeah.
You can suffer so much, right?
Yeah.
Can't sleep, can't eat, wandering around that jungle, chasing phantasmagoria.
That was a good story, wasn't
it? Would you like him to tell it again?
Okay, where are we? Text 12?
Text 12.
Sometimes to mitigate distress in
That's
the
not
force.
text 12.
No. Due to his pious activities in previous lives, the conditioned soul attains material facilities in this life.
Good karma brings you some nice material facilities.
Yeah, due to some pious activities in a previous life. We think, well, I'm so clever. Well, I've worked so hard. Well, my band's so good. No. Pious activities in a previous life.
Okay.
The conditioned soul attains material facilities in this life. But when they're finished, right? Piety is sort of like a bank account. You keep on spending those pious credits, and all of a sudden, wait a second.
Nothing left.
You're overdrawn, Mr. Capo. You're going to get hit with some penalties. He takes shelter of wealth and riches, which cannot help him for his next life. Because of this, he approaches the living dead who possess these things. What does that mean? Because of this, he approaches the living dead. Okay. Such people are compared to impure trees, creepers, and poisonous wells. Can you name an impure tree? Or must I tell you, being a part-time botanist?
An impure tree? Like
yes,
a poisonous
an impure tree.
That tree that has those spikes all over it. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, those flowering purple flower trees.
Yeah.
What are they called? Oh, are they poisonous?
You're a part-time botanist.
That's why, if I was full-time, I'd tell you the Latin name. I'm a part-time botanist. I know what you're talking about. I was thinking of Datura, the trumpet flower tree.
Oh.
Poisonous. Okay.
I think we're out of time, Ruga.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to spin that one for a while. All right. Alrighty. Let's go to Miss Mara, who seems like she's back on camera.
Back on camera.
Valuable information. Give us some takeaways, Miss Mara.
Stop complaining and recreate what you don't like.
There you go. You little complainer. Cut the crap. Recreate it. Oh, yeah. The Hare Krishnas were like this. Well, don't be like that. Okay? That's simple.
Bhakti is the alternative to Boga and Tiaga.
That's right.
Wouldn't be a great t-shirt, but I get it.
We come into this world naked and leave this world naked.
And a lot of times I'm walking around naked in between. But that's something
Can't you
else.
put on clothes when you die?
We really leave naked? I don't think that's true. I don't know. I've rarely met anyone leaving this world naked.
Bhakti transcends selfish concerns.
Yeah, it does.
The world is designed more for pain than it is for pleasure.
That's for sure. Good morning, everyone.
Join a sage gang. There's no catch.
There's no catch.
Back in the Sage Gang.
Hate ages you.
It ages others, too.
We're talking about everybody, not just you. These aren't all like specifically for you.
Collective hate can cause physical illness. Get an exorcism.
Get an exorcism. How about Wisdom Sages? Back of the shirt. Get
We
an
do
exorcism.
exorcisms.
We do. The holy name is like an exorcism, isn't it? You know, that was a #1 movie. Grandma Terry said you could not watch.
How did she know?
Are you kidding? The
She watched
Exorcist
it?
was a huge movie
No,
when
but
we were growing up.
Did she watch it herself?
No, she would never watch that. No devils in the house. That was the rule. You know that.
And
Don't hate the assessor.
don't hate this.
Don't hate this.
Let that go.
Can you hate the devil?
No, not even the devil.
Sure.
Mhm.
I tell you, when Slayer came out, that was my spidey senses started tickling. Part of
told
me
me
was
not
like,
to
hey,
hear
you
this.
should check out Slayer. I was like, never. I still won't listen to Slayer. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Wisdom of the Sages 108@gmail.com is the magical email you need to write to get on the Wisdom of the Sages Zoom. It is the equivalent of like being in the studio audience and Let's Make a Deal. You can be in the studio audience here on Zoom. You just email Miss Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. If you like what we're doing, guess what? We got a community that supports us. Big thanks to the community and the platinum members. You just go to Wisdom of the Sages, patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages. You give a monthly. There is no platinum thing. Everybody, whoever gets in that door, you get all of our workshops, classes, lectures, teachings, etc. There's a whole archive of treasures there. But also a lot of times people just do it because they want to support what we're doing. They're getting something out of this. Thank you very much for people who do that. Thanks to all the Sage Group members. And again, it's not getting anything out of this, but it's just great that this community is so darn strong. We don't want just any community. We want a community that lifts us higher and higher and higher. And I feel like we're really accomplishing that. So 6:00 tonight is the signups. Wisdomofthesages.com. This is so exciting. And we want to thank our walk-on Wednesdays, Brudge Bihari, and the sweet dust of Brudge, Kylie Brown. From Atlanta, Georgia. Here